Hi, Sharon. Thanks for presenting this update.
Yes, we're happy to. Renee, should I take it away?
Yes, please.
Okay. Let me, first of all, let me just introduce myself. Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Sharon Cho. I'm a project manager with Dorchester Bay Economic Development Corporation. I am the project manager leading 9 Leyland. And I'm joined by Jacqueline Maloney today as well, who is just waving her hand, who's the project manager with our general contractor, Kaplan Construction. So 9 Leyland is I'll provide a little project overview. So let me share my screen and I can, you all can follow along on the slides. Let's see. There. Can folks see that okay? Is that big enough?
Yes.
Oh, okay, so we're here to present an update to the Sustainable Development Committee on 9 Leyland Street. So this is a senior affordable housing project located on Leyland Street. And this map, it gives you a bird's eye view of where the project is located. So this is Leyland Street right here, and the Kroc Center located where my mouse is. And it's been a long vacant parcel that Dorchester Bay, in partnership with Hebrew Senior Life, will be developing for Upham's Corner's very first senior affordable housing project. This project, it takes a really long time to build affordable housing. So this project launched back in 2018 when we were exploring due diligence and started the community processes. And I believe Dorchester Bay's first presentation to SDC may have dated back in 2018. And so for the first few years, you know, we were putting together our design, our permitting, our approvals, putting together our funding and financing. We started construction. We broke ground in just February of this year. And we are on track to complete construction next summer. We're estimating about July of 2023. So it is a 5-year project that's in the making from start to finish. This is a project that DSNI through the Sustainable Development Committee has approved and provided a letter of support for. We had received a request from SDC to provide sort of periodic updates around the construction. And so we're just here today to give you all an update around the construction, hiring, and answer any questions you all have. So this is just a snapshot of the ground planned. We've got 9 parking spaces adjacent to our project. The project will be about 5 stories. It will be 5 stories. And this gives you a snapshot of what the first floor, the programming will look like. So we've got a sort of a community space multi-function room on the first floor that you know, will be accessible to folks beyond just the residents, to the community. We've got bike storage here in the rear of the building for residents, and we've got a number of bedrooms on the first floor as well. And each floor, they're sort of stacked, so they look similarly from levels 2 to 4. And this is a look at the 5th floor, We did try to incorporate some outdoor space in the project because we did hear from SDC in the community that you know, there's sort of a dearth of open space, and we wanted to accommodate and have a little bit of outdoor space on the roof terrace on the 5th floor. And in terms of the programming and the unit mix, so this is a 43 unit project, and there is a range of affordability levels. So we have ranges from 30% area median income, 50% area median income to 60% area median income. And all of the units that are designated for 30% AMI and 50% AMI are supported by vouchers, which mean that the residents who live in those units would not pay more than 30% of their household income. And we actually have some really exciting news to share with folks. You know, we did hear that the 60% AMI rents are oftentimes not affordable to the seniors in the neighborhood. And while the majority of the units in the project are 30 and 50% AMI, we were able to secure city-funded project-based vouchers. And so the remainder of the units, the 60% AMI units, will also be supported by vouchers. So we received up to 19 additional city-funded project-based vouchers. And you know, we sought those vouchers out at the advocacy of you know, the members here. Yeah, so that's a quick overview of our project. And I'm sorry, this is a little too large. Let me see if I can fit this to the screen. I'm gonna pass it to Jacqueline from Kaplan, who's gonna talk a little bit more about what's going on with construction and some of the logistics, as well as how we're doing on hiring.
Thanks, Sharon.
Jacqueline, so if you want me to run through the logistics and kind of the status of the job, I can do that. And then if you want to touch on the hiring.
Sure. So also joined from Kaplan is Bill Slaney, our operations manager. And Bill, you can take it away.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks for joining. So Jacqueline, are we going to show those photos, or is this the slide we're going to go by?
So the photos are next after this one slide. This will show the logistics of the job, and then we have 2 photos taken from today that show everybody what the job site looks like. Yeah, so for people who have not driven by yet, this is the job site. We are currently working on the masonry shaft scope. So you'll see that tower there. Those are the elevators, elevator towers. We, on the rest of the job site, are still working through the underground and the site work. And our steel is scheduled to mobilize next week. So you will see the building start to come out of the ground. The structure will be built up over the next few months. The first story is steel structure, and the upper floors are wood structure. So, Bill, you want to add anything?
Yeah, you're stealing my thunder, but it sounds great. Sounds great, Jacqueline. Yeah, so as Jacqueline said, that's kind of how the project has progressed. Next up is steel, and we're targeting that to start this coming Monday. Where now you'll start to see steel trucks and a crane on site within the footprint. And like Jacqueline said, the building will be coming kind of more out of the ground from what you're seeing to date. So the kind of the traffic flow will be similar to what you've seen to date. Everything's kind of flowing in that gate off of Leyland Street. And there'll be the occasional queuing up staging along, thanks Sharon, along the sidewalk on Leyland as well, just in front of our gate area. But as you've seen to date, everything kind of occurs, right inside that light gray footprint, where that's where the crane will kind of occupy that space, and when it's erecting the structural steel. So logistically, that's kind of up next, and then shortly after, in the next 6 weeks, just to give you a kind of a further stone throw of what's to come, the wood frame structure will be coming kind of after that 6-week time frame, and that's another 8 weeks of the continuing of bringing the structure from the structural steel to the wood frame out of the ground, and then the building will be topped off in, call it, 12 to 14 weeks. And that's where you'll see the full structure in place. And then we'll be working on the outside and inside simultaneously. So that's kind of a snapshot, just a brush stroke over what's going to look like over the next, call it, 14 weeks. And logistically, nothing significantly changing from what you've seen to date.
Thanks, Bill. So that's the first picture, and then we've got another picture that's sort of an aerial view of the footprint of the building. So subcontractors on site, we have a number of MBE and Kaplan is the WBE on site. We are targeting a couple more as we continue the buyout process. We're about 85% awarded, so that last 15% are smaller trades, but there are a number of trades that still need to be awarded. So we're hoping to add some WBEs and MBEs to this list. For MBEs, we have Pegasus, Turnkey, and NHK. And our current subcontract percentage awards, for the MBE, we're at 26%, and for WBE, we are at 9% of our overall contract value. And then on the table on the bottom, it gives you a summary of where we are in worker hours on site. We have just been doing site work and concrete, mostly with some masonry in there. The concrete is the majority of the hours that we've been spending on site. So there are many, many more hours to come. We're still at under 2,500. But our current workforce percentages, for people of color, we're at 30%. For women, we're at 2%, and for Boston residents, we're at 19%. So we're doing a number of things to increase that participation across all of those categories. We've attended multiple career fairs where candidates have been able to give us their contact information and resumes that I've circulated to all of our subs. There have been a number of candidates that have been hired through that process, so that's great to see. We have a lot of outreach in terms of posting ads in the Bay State Banner. We have many posters throughout the Dorchester community and surrounding communities with the QR code that people can access our application online to try to get some more diverse candidates. And we have an interview day scheduled in July to actually interview candidates in person at Conrad and Associates, our diversity consultants office, which we intend to bring some subcontractors to who may need some more help at their companies. So we are pushing forward, continuing to drive home with the subs the importance of diversity and inclusion on our project, and we hope to see some good things in the future.
So yeah, I think, sorry, Bill, that I missed you. You're on as William, so I didn't know which William you were. I didn't.
That's my alias.
Yeah, leave you out.
That's all right.
So yeah, just appreciate SDC for allowing us to provide this update, and we're also happy to come back periodically. Whatever time period feels good to SDC, whether it's quarterly or we could come back in the fall. But with that, yeah, I guess I'll close out our presentation and hand it over to Renee, or if folks have any questions about the project.
Thank you, Sharon. Yes, please, if anyone has question about the presentation, please raise your hand. You can also use the chat to post those questions. And so I have a question regarding the reaching out those goals for minority and women. Is there, so probably the ordinance is encourage, like developer and the subs to, like reach those goals, but there are no any consequence, right? Like for not reaching those goals, or they are. Do you know about what the city ordinance and?
He does have fines in place if subs are not putting forth their best faith effort in trying to meet those goals. A lot of the subs know how important work in the city of Boston is, and they know that the better they do on their worker hours on not just this project, but all projects in general in the city of Boston, the more favorably they'll be seen by GCs and developers as to be used on their projects. So we've driven that message home to a lot of the subs who need to hear it. And we've seen some good things on the subs who may not have that diversity already in their teams. So they are trying, and we're giving them every resource and opportunity that we possibly can to help them.
Great, thank you. More questions from the audience or comments about the project? Is there any email, or if people have questions, community member have question about traffic? I don't know if there's, I don't know when, like the heavy construction is going to start, that might impact some of the traffic in Leyland and East Cottage. Is there any email where people can ask those questions, or is there any web page where you're going to be posting, like when there is interruption of traffic and on the street, on those streets?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, correct me if I'm wrong, Jacqueline, on the project site that there's contact information, but folks are welcome to reach out to me, or Jacqueline is the project manager on behalf of Kaplan. So I think with regards to some of the more construction related items, she might be the contact, and I'm happy to, I can put my email and my phone number in the chat, and if folks are passing by, I believe there's a contact information on a sign at the site as well.
Is that Jacqueline contact information or somebody else? Do you know?
Believe it, at the site, I believe it's my contact information and my superintendent's contact information.
Okay. Can you put your email or a phone number in the chat so people can take note of that if they have questions in the future? There is Angel with a comment. Sounds good. Any last comment before we thank Sharon, Jacqueline, and Williams for their presentation? And probably we're gonna have you back at some point in the future, right? To hear more update in this project. Thank you so much for coming
Thank you.
tonight.
Thanks for having us. And yeah, we would be happy to come back.